Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. In today's video, OP reaches out to Reddit because she has a horrible mother-in-law who's extremely condescending and mean to her. And in an act of defiance, OP decides to stand up to the mother-in-law. Unfortunately, the fallout is pretty big and she seems very lost. But luckily it does end on a happy ending, so stay tuned for the final updates to find out. I do hope that you enjoyed this story. If you do, please leave a thumbs up. And before we move on to the story, I just wanted to take a second and thank all of my subscribers. Thank you so much, you guys are amazing. For those of you that don't know, I have a personal goal of reaching 1000 subscribers. So if you like my content and would like to support me, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and on to the story. Am I the a-hole for ruining Thanksgiving? I, a 30-year-old female, met my boyfriend, a 30-year-old male, 3 years ago. Before me, he was together with his high school sweetheart. They fell out of love and broke up, and a year later, we started dating. His mom, however, was still heartbroken about it. I was very understanding and thought that she needed time to get to know me. The ex basically grew up with them and they saw her as part of the family. For the first year of my relationship, his mom would call me the ex's name, at least until the boyfriend got angry once and told her to be nice. She laughed it off and said that it was just a habit. After that, she started calling me the wrong name, for example, Janet instead of Jenny, and these are fictional names just for the story. I corrected her a couple of times, but she seemed to like hurting me, so I ignored it later. My boyfriend has 2 sisters, and a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, we were invited to a barbecue at the older sister's house. I was in the kitchen with my boyfriend's mom, the sisters, and one of their husbands. The older sister then talked about how my boyfriend praised my cooking to her husband and the mom was listening. She then said out loud, "Sure, why don't we let Janet make the turkey this year?" The sisters giggled and looked at each other and I said, "That's a great idea." I didn't tell my boyfriend what happened. On Thanksgiving, we went to his mom's house with the usual wine and dessert. She was shocked. Everyone was shocked. I said, "What? I thought Janet was bringing the turkey." There was yelling, crying, and then we got kicked out. My boyfriend is so angry with me that he hasn't talked to me since. I think it's over, to be honest, but I still don't think that I did anything wrong. Did I? The overwhelming judgment was not the a-hole. One Redditor said, "Not the a-hole. This family sounds like absolute nightmare fuel. If my future partner's mother tried to alienate me any chance she got, I would have had the same reaction. There's only so much hatefulness a person can take. I genuinely feel sorry for you in having to go through that. It must hurt a lot. Your boyfriend should have had a sit down with her ages ago about boundaries and being kind to you, which shouldn't even have to happen in a relationship. I'm glad that you stuck up for yourself and made her feel like an idiot because she is one. Your boyfriend should have stood up for you anyhow, considering that it's out of your hands to be respected." To which OP replied, "He tried to correct her a few times, but she gave a half-hearted apology. Now he just rolled his eyes. I have and had very little interaction with his mom for obvious reasons." Another Redditor said, "Not the a-hole. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no Janet in the family. They delegated the turkey to a fictional name that they made up to get under your skin. Turnabout is fair play. Had they respected you and called you by your given name, I'm certain that they would have gotten their turkey. They're just mad because their pettiness came back to bite them in their behind. You said that you didn't tell your boyfriend what happened. Is he aware of the fact that his mother can't get your name right? You've been together 2 years and his mother still can't get your name right. He allows this? If so, then it may be time to rethink this relationship. You won't get any respect from his family if he tolerates their disrespect, and in turn disrespects you because he refuses to confront the issue with his mom." Another Redditor replied, "Not the a-hole. She's been rude and disrespectful to you. It's understandable that she misses the ex, but you didn't do anything wrong. So you threw her bad behavior back in her face. She had it coming. Your boyfriend is the a-hole. He should have been more supportive and defended you. He should have never let this get this far. If it is over, then maybe you're better off." To which OP replied, "Everyone was mad at me but my boyfriend's father. He was laughing the whole time. If I wasn't so terrified by the reaction, I would have laughed too." The mom's reaction was priceless. She was literally jumping in the kitchen yelling at them to get me out. What a mess I did. Another Redditor replied, "Technically, I think I should vote you're the a-hole, but I like your style and think that you're kind of not the a-hole. It's bad timing. You had to know that it would explode. Your boyfriend is horrible and very detached, but the whole scenario did make me smile. How did your boy not even know that you were supposed to be bringing the turkey? In the whole run-up, did no one mention anything to him? You should have added insult to the injury and bought tofu burgers." Hi everyone. I don't know how to start this, but I want to say wow. I did not expect this amount of support. Thank you for not the a-hole. I will answer some questions before the update, and if you're not interested, skip to the last paragraph. Thanksgiving is usually held by my mother-in-laws or the older daughter, who's a 32-year-old female, because they have the biggest dining rooms. It's usually the same people bringing the same dishes, and it has been like this for years. Mother-in-law is in charge of the turkey, my boyfriend the desserts, etc. I don't know if they call each other to check up. I've been to one before with my boyfriend and we bought desserts. The mother-in-law and I have no direct contact. If you see my text conversation with her, it looks like I'm the creep that slides into your DMs every now and then with a hi, except I send congratulations on birthdays or on Christmases and Easter greetings, etc. She never talked to or about me, not even with my boyfriend, and even if I was in the same room as her, she would talk about me in a third person. At the barbecue, her main issue was that sister-in-law and her husband were discussing my cooking in a positive way, saying that they wanted me to invite them to dinner sometime. My mother-in-law got triggered, and that started what went down. So even if it sounded weird for many here, it wasn't really if you know her. At Thanksgiving, only the ones knowing about Janet understood what was going on, the sister-in-laws, father-in-law, etc. The rest were just confused and horrified. My boyfriend was very confused and angry with his mom for wanting to kick me out and told her he was leaving too. I live 5 minutes drive from mother-in-law. That was all the time that I had to explain. He got really pissed, so he dropped me off and drove away. I have no idea what he did afterwards, nor how the rest of his family celebrated. I ordered in and watched the Wheel of Time. I texted him apologizing both that same night and the next day and tried calling over the weekend without success. Now onto the update. Yesterday, I was at a party that both my boyfriend and I planned to go to pre-war. He showed up and he hugged and kissed me, and we spent the evening together. He asked me if we could go to my place afterwards to talk, and I agreed. He told me that he wasn't mad about what I did, but about the fact that I didn't tell him, and that he looked like an idiot because of it. I apologized again. I told him that I don't think that I could or want to make amends with mother-in-law, ever, and that I'm not sure if that's what I want for my future. She's a great grandmother to sister-in-law's children, but would she be the same with ours when she obviously does not and will not like me? I also told him that I can't be with someone who would ghost me for 2 to 3 weeks when he's angry with me. So we broke up. I am sad because I love him very much, but this is probably for the best in the long run. Many will say that mother-in-law won, but I was never in a competition with her. She can think she won because I don't care, and at least now she'll start using my name when they're dressing boyfriend's next girl. Hello everyone, remember me? This has been one wild ride. My boyfriend ghosting me after I ruined his mother's Thanksgiving. We broke up and I heard from a mutual friend that he was seeing his high school sweetheart again, and I played like I wasn't bothered even though I was dying inside. About a week, 3 weeks ago, he texted me out of the blue asking if he could come to talk to me. I told him that we could meet out for a walk or maybe a coffee. I didn't trust having him in my apartment. He agreed. At the moment I saw him, I knew that I was effed because no matter how much this person hurt me, I still loved him. I played it cool, however. He wasn't as cool and started telling me how hard these past months were for him and how he thought about me and missed me all the time. He apologized about everything that happened, his mother's treatment of him not thinking it's a big deal and not coming to my rescue when she was hurtful. He said that he misjudged the situation since I never said anything. He thought that I had it under control. I thought that you were handling her well, he said. He apologized about ghosting me. He said he was very hurt and felt deceived by me. He doesn't feel that way anymore, and that his anger got the best of him. At that time, he couldn't understand why I would do something like this behind his back. When he's angry, he tends to keep away. I asked him about his high school sweetheart. He was surprised that I knew about it. He said that she reached out to him when she heard that he was single again. His mom probably arranged that. It didn't work out, however, and he told her that he wasn't interested after a couple of weeks of dating. Now for his mom. When she heard he broke it off with his high school sweetheart, she got mad and threatened to cut him off, especially if he went back to that B, who's apparently me. He's always been very close with his family, and after the Thanksgiving fiasco, he wasn't keeping the same contact with them, and after his mother's threat, he went no contact. I guess ghosting is his expertise. These last couple of weeks were great. It was like we just picked off where we left off. I know it's not healthy to glance over what happened, but for now I just want to be with him and be happy. We'll have all of our lives hopefully to talk things over and figure out how to be better at communicating. He asked me to marry him on Friday and I said yes. We made an Instagram post about the engagement. His mom doesn't have an Instagram, but she found out somehow because not even an hour later, she started bombarding his phone with calls and texts. Nobody from his family but his dad congratulated us yet. He called and congratulated both of us and told me that I was his favorite in-law and that he always wished to have me as a daughter. I'm a bit sad, to be honest. I come from a broken home, and when I met my boyfriend and I saw how welcoming his family was to his ex, I counted myself lucky. I thought that I was going to have the family that I never had and that my children would have a better life than myself. It seems like we're going to have to rely on ourselves and our friends to create this family life I was dreaming of for my children. I don't know when we're getting married. We've been talking about relocating to London. Fiancé's half British. We'll see what happens, but for now, I want to say that I've never been happier in my life. OP gave some updates in the comments. They say, I have no idea why mother-in-law doesn't like me. Well, now at least she has a reason. But before, I don't know. Most of our dating happened during the pandemic, so I literally had very little interaction with her in the beginning. But she probably believes that I stole her from his former girlfriend, who she loved and thought was a much better match. But it's not true. I met him over a year after they broke up and he was single. I'm not white and had a rough childhood. Maybe this is also another reason. And OP mentioned a couple of weeks later, we're not planning a wedding or anything. It's just a big waste of money, but I want a long engagement and want to work on our issues. They then posted a couple of months later in r/justnomother-in-law. I'm a person of color with a horrible mother-in-law. After my boyfriend proposed to me, we haven't seen or heard from her, even with me living within a walking distance from her house. A blessing even if I feel bad for my fiancé sometimes. We're moving across the pond and we're planning a small wedding in South France or Italy, but not in many years. Life is just so good right now. So guys, what did you think? Please let me know in the comments down below. I personally am a little miffed with the boyfriend. I hope that this is one of those scenarios where only the bad aspect has been highlighted and the rest of her relationship with her boyfriend is very good. Because if I'm being honest, the boyfriend did have some really bad red flags, like the fact that he didn't empathize with OP when her mom kept quote-unquote forgetting her name, or the fact that he ghosted her for so long. I don't know. I am glad that OP has the wherewithal to plan for a very long engagement. I think that that's so important. I'm so glad that she's doing well. Even after a couple of months, she's very happy in her relationship. I do hope the best for her and her fiancé, and I hope that they have a happily ever after. So what do you guys think about this? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you did like the story, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.